This is a quick demo of how our enterprise ERP integration works. I'm Ravi, and I'll be taking you through this today. For the purpose of this demo, there are 3 points that you need to remember. Number one, this demo has screens which have been modified to protect client data, but this is an actual client, or these are actual clients from whose implementation we have taken these screens from. Uh, Not all the steps will align with your ERP because your ERP is implemented differently. Your payment run might happen differently. You may have different checks on your payment run. Those sort of things will happen, but this will give you a broad idea about what you can do with this implementation. Uh, Finally, the reconciliation step is not how reconciliation automatically happens, cannot be covered in this video because it just automatically happens. But there are two ways that you can see them happening. Number one is via API, and number two is SFTP based implementation. Now, before we go into exactly how this works, there are a few very important things on how this is going to be implemented. Now, what we will do is that we'll partner with your current SAP, Microsoft Dynamics, or NetSuite implementation partner. Our RazorpayX enterprise implementation team will work with you and your implementation partner to scope out the solution to see exactly where you would want what feature and how. Number two, expose to you the right APIs and provide you the sandbox environment in which your implementation partners can test all the APIs. And finally, support your implementation partner throughout their implementation journey with sandboxes as well as real live testing with our technical support teams as well. Post implementation, you will have a complete support during the testing as well as using phase. Now, let's get down to the actual demo. As you can see, this is my SAP screen. Again, as I mentioned, this is simply a prototype that we have created out of an existing implementation we have done with our customers. Now, if you look at it, you are about to run a payment run. You would come over here, and over here you would need to define the parameters. You would need to select, for example, if you've got multiple companies over here, you would need to select the company code, and then you would need to select the vendor code if this is what you, if you are, for example, paying a vendor, or for example, if you have multiple vendors that you're paying. In this scenario, I'm just taking a single vendor for the ease of our calculation, but like any payment run, you can have multiple vendors. Now, when you go into status, you go ahead and create a proposal, right? And in running the proposal, then you go to the status and then you choose to edit the proposal. Now, for example, my current vendor number 1100251 has a bunch of bills, right? Now, everything in SAP remains the same, but what has happened is two things. Number one, our APIs have connected to your SAP. So you will have a bunch of features that we have listed in the document to you that you can see basically over here, right? That you would be able to trigger from your ERP. You would have multiple current accounts. You could have, vendor verification, GST check. This is simply one of the features. So, for example, over here, our partners, our client have implemented a GST check where when they click on the GST, for each bill we are able to get based on the bill number or the document number, we are able to get the exact GST deposited against that bill by the vendor. So you can, with the click of a button, not just get to know what is the input GST, but also what, with the click of a button, you can reduce that amount from your payment run, right? Now, once you have done that, what you can do is that you can execute the payment run, right? Now, very importantly, over here, if you look at it, once you implement a payment run, what happens is that the first thing our API does is that it pings to RazorpayX saying asking the status of the bank. Now, if the bank is experiencing failure rate, we will over here itself within your ERP showcase, for example, what is the current failure rate, and the fact that you should save the implementation, the payment proposal right now, or whether you should do it later. If you choose to continue to do it later, the payment run is completed. Now, once you have done the payment run, you would see that on your RazorpayX payouts app over here, you would find this payment that has been triggered from your SAP, right? So, for example, you would look at this 10,000 rupees to Apex Enterprises. Now, if you look at it over here, this bill is waiting pending approval from Finance L1. So you can have approval workflows on RazorpayX, and based on the approval workflows, this will be implemented. Now, once this has been paid, it will move to paid state like this. So if you look at it, this is processed and paid, and your bill in your ERP will be automatically reconciled, right? We can't show you the reconciliation step because that happens via our APIs, and which is very hard to reproduce in a demo for you. But with all of this, now you can trigger the payments directly from your ERP, have multiple current account support from a single integration, have downtime prevention, which we showed you on the demo, have GST input credit check, which we showed you in the demo, as well as have things like triggering payouts from your ERP, which again we showed you in the demo, as well as having customized reconciliation file should you go with SFTP transfer. To reiterate, we will be helping your implementation partners for all their needs and providing them the sandbox environments and the APIs that they need to test it. We hope that this is something you find interesting and we can go ahead and start working with you and with your implementation partner. Thank you.